All right. So again, welcome. My name is Sarah Lewis. I use she and her pronouns. I'm the Program Director, Performing Arts and Accessibility Coordinator at Mid-Atlantic Arts. I'm a white woman with short brown hair and a white button-down shirt underneath a brown sweater with a blurred out background in my home office today. I'm zooming in from lands known as Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to acknowledge the Piscataway and Susquehannock peoples as historic stewards of this land, as well as the enduring presence of Piscataway, Lumbee, and Eastern Band of Cherokee community members in Baltimore City today. I'm glad that you've joined us today for the Mid-Atlantic Tour's Roster Artist Share. I'm here with my colleague, Sarah Tunay, who is the Program Specialist at Mid-Atlantic Arts, as well as the tour managers representing the artists on the Mid-Atlantic Tour's roster. For today's session, please remain on mute when you're not speaking. You may have your camera on or off. ASL interpretation is available for this session, and we're glad to have them here. Thank you both. To pin the ASL interpreters through the webinar, select the three dots in the top right of their video, and then select Pin. Automatic closed captioning is also available. For those here live with us today, click CC or Live Transcript button, and then click Show Subtitles. Throughout your Mid-Atlantic Tours process, if you are in need of any accommodation, or if you have any questions about the program, please contact me, Sarah Lewis, at 410-539-6656, extension 110, or email slewis@midatlanticarts.org. All right, now let's jump into Mid-Atlantic Tours. I'm going to start by doing a quick overview of the program, and then all the tour managers will introduce themselves. After that round of intros, we'll hear from each tour manager for about 5 minutes with a 5-minute break in between. Finally, there will be about 20 minutes at the end of the presentation where we'll have breakout rooms with each roster artist tour manager. You can visit with one tour manager or several during that time. It's flexible and casual. You can also reach out to the tour manager directly to set up another time to talk to determine if a presentation of the roster artist in your community would be a good fit for you both. The tour manager's contact info is available at midatlanticarts.org under the Mid-Atlantic Tours program page. That link is going in the chat now, and we'll also put each tour manager's contact info in the chat as they introduce themselves and present about the roster artist they're working with. So now on to Mid-Atlantic Tours. Mid-Atlantic Tours is a grant opportunity for presenters in the Mid-Atlantic geographic region, which includes Delaware, DC, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, the US Virgin Islands, Virginia, West Virginia, and the native nations that share this geography. This program is funded through the NEA's regional touring program, and it it supports the robust touring of selected roster artists throughout the Mid-Atlantic region with at least 2 engagement activities in each presenter's community. The engagements that we're going to be talking about today have support available for touring between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024. And I encourage you to review the full guidelines available at midatlanticarts.org. The reason for today's gathering is to hear directly from the tour managers who are working with artists on the roster, and so that presenters can learn more about their work and determine if it would be a good fit for their community. We did have a webinar in mid-November, which outlines the full logistics of applying for this program as a presenter. That webinar is recorded and available at midatlanticarts.org under the Mid-Atlantic Tours program page. The link to the recording is going in the chat now, and I recommend that you check it out if you haven't already done so, or if you weren't there already. It has a lot of great and really important info about how the program works, including eligibility and the application process. I also want to share the program guidelines for Mid-Atlantic tours. This document is the key resource to determine eligibility and the process. So review it ahead of setting up a meeting with the tour manager if you want to do so following this session. You can get those guidelines also at midatlanticarts.org and also going in the chat. Finally, the full roster with details about each roster artist is also available on our website. We'll put the link for that in the chat now too. I encourage you to download that. You can use that resource to find more work samples for the artists you'll hear from today, the full bios for each artist, just lots of great information to share with your programming teams and your constituents. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing. Hi, and ask for our tour managers to each introduce themselves. And tour managers, this is just a brief 1-minute introduction of who you are and who you work with, and then we'll jump into our longer share. So with that, can I ask Kalpuli to introduce yourself first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Leanne. I'm Cal Pulley Mexican Dance Company's tour manager and company manager. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm a white woman with blonde and light brown hair that's pulled up into a bun today. I'm wearing a teal shirt and gray jacket. And I'm also joined by Cal Pulley's executive director, Juan Castaño, and I'll let Juan introduce himself really fast.
Hi, everyone. My name is Juan. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm the executive director and also co-founder of Cal Pulley Mexican Dance Company. I'm wearing a gray sweater and coming in from New York City, where Cal Pulley is based. Thank you.
Great, thanks. DuPont Brass.
Hey, everybody. My name is Brent Gossett. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a tall, bald, bearded black man with a black shirt on, and I'm an artist within DuPont Brass, where I act and serve as the sousaphone, bass player, and tour manager for the group. And I'm also accompanied today by one of our band members who also has a couple of administrative roles, Jared Bailey. So he'll introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Bailey. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am a medium-sized bearded black man with short hair, glasses, and an orange shirt. Like Brent said, I have a few roles. I play trumpet and flugelhorn for the group, and I also do vocals, which consist of rapping, singing, and even songwriting and producing. And on the business side, I work as the marketing director, and I also work very closely with the management team to just get everything done.
Great, thanks, Brent and Jared. From China to Appalachia.
Hi, I'm Kathy Fink of Kathy Fink and Marcy Markser, and also joining us in this is Chow Tien. She's going to join the breakout sessions later. She's our Chinese Yangtin or hammer dulcimer player. I serve as the tour manager, as the booker, and also as an artist in the group, playing the banjo, the guitar, the ukulele, singing, and having as much fun as possible.
Thanks, Kathy. Jaron Herman.
Hi, everybody. I am not Jaron Herman. I am Candace Feldman. I represent him and Vitruvian. My pronouns are Queen, and I am a cappuccino skin-colored Hawaiian Zimbabwean mixed brown-haired girl with a black shirt, long-sleeved. Very happy to be here. This is very exciting.
Thanks so much, Candace. The legendary Ingram Metz.
Hey there, everybody. I'm David Garr here, waving. That's me in the upper left corner. I'm with the owner agent of Freshen Up Arts, and we're delighted to be representing the legendary Ingram Metz out of Richmond, Virginia. With me is Josh Kahn and John Lohman of the Center for Cultural Vibrancy, and they've been working with the Ingram Metz recordings and so on. For John's been with them for decades at this point, so we're delighted to have them part of the program.
Thanks, David. Josh and John, did you want to say hi, or should I keep moving?
I'm happy to just hop on during the breakout sessions. John, feel free to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is John Lohman. He, his. I'm a white male, just got a haircut, and I'll speak a bit more about the group a little bit later. But I've been blessed to get to spend time with them for close to 2 decades now.
Great, thanks y'all. And Martha Redbone.
Hi there, Bill Marquardt here. I am the tour manager for Martha Redbone, both her formats that are being offered, both the Roots Project and Bone Hill, which I'll get into some details on later on the differences between those two, and we'll show a short video. I'm also her booking agent as well, so happy to answer any questions. Very nice to meet all of you. I am a white bearded male wearing a hat and a gray sweatshirt.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves. And we are going to jump right in. So I'm going to start screen sharing, and I will hand it over to the team from Calpulli Mexican Dance Company. Y'all just let me know when you need me to switch slides. I'll get the screen share started.
Sarah, will you bring up the slide?
Yeah, here you go.
Right. So we'll power really quickly through this. This is the content of what we're going to share, and we can break out, go into more detail later in breakouts. If you go to the next slide, please. Yes, so Calpulli is a dance company and also a nonprofit organization, and our mission is really around celebrating Mexican people and their stories, our stories. And we were founded in 2003, so 2023 next year will be our 20th anniversary. Alberto Lopez, the artistic director, and myself are 2 of the co-founders. And we also do work as Calpulli Danza Mexicana when we use our name in Spanish. The next slide, please. You can see a little bit more about Alberto on our website. He is an amazing artist, not only a choreographer, but also a costume maker, a garment maker. He was featured with people in Espanol, and a few other key people you'll see on the slide here is George Sainz, our music director, and Grisel Pren, who is our associate artistic director. The next slide, please. So what we do is we tell stories through dance. So our stories are told entirely through dance. The only time that anything is spoken is really in the lyrics that the singers sing in the songs. So it is a challenge for us, but it is also, we think, a universal language. These are the 4 active stories that we have now. We are premiering a new show in 2023. And I wanted to share just a little bit about each one. The next slide, please. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, great. My screen froze, so I just want to make sure. We wanted to take advantage of the fact that Cinco de Mayo is the attention should be, and those are the people that made the Battle of Puebla happen, the heroes of that. It's a story that we developed with the support of the New England Foundation for the Arts when they awarded us the National Dance Project Award. And this is a historical production, so it is one that lends very much itself to an educational discussion, and we can talk about that more later. The next slide, please. Our next story is Dia de los Muertos. So it is a story that we developed over many, many years under several artistic directors. It's told in the format of an opera. So there are only really 2 places that we go in the performance: the world of the living and the world of the dead. And that's very clear in the story when you are in each one. And we really pull from the colors, the sentiment of Dia de Muertos, and set it to live music. All of our productions are with live music. And we do use a great deal of dance theater and contemporary dance along with folkloric dance in the production to tell the story. The next slide, please. So Navidad, a Mexican American Christmas, we just finished performing this in New York City this past weekend. We developed this around 2016, and it is a story, it's an immigrant story, one that explores a young person's experience growing up in the United States with parents from Mexico, and how they try to navigate that bicultural identity. And we pull a lot from the imagery and music of the Nutcracker, along, of course, with Mexican traditions, and have a dream sequence where, you know, Tchaikovsky and mariachi are blended together. It doesn't follow the Nutcracker storyline. It is a completely original storyline that we created for this story. The next slide, please. And Boda Mexicana, this is another story mainly using folkloric dance that really tells of wedding traditions across Mexico through costuming, through music. The next slide, please. So one of our strengths in engagement is really our arts and education. Since we founded the organization, we have extensive experience with assembly performances, workshops, residencies of all kinds. We can share that video later where you can see the number of students that we serve in schools. We do serve diverse age group from as little as 4-year-olds to no maximum age, with ability, an ability range, whether it's impaired ability, or whether it's a master class with dancers. Many of our artists are also performers of the company. You see a photo there of George Sines, our music director. He's also an accordion and guitar teacher. All of our programming is bilingual, and we have many resources, including a study guide to help bring this to audiences. The next slide, please. And community engagement. So we consider this an extension of art and education, where we really target specific communities that we think are either underserved, underrepresented. And we have helped some of the partners that you see here, the New Rochelle Public Library, Daisy Center in New Jersey, and also a school here in Queens, really develop a sense of community by having Calpulli artists, lead programming there. And many of these programs have continued now for more than 5-6 years. The next slide, please. I know that we were asked to maybe highlight a little bit more information. So the way that we handle engagement is really to plan early and really have interactive. We don't have any set thing that we must do. We love to hear what presenters' goals are, what we want to know, what your community is like. We don't prescribe to a cookie cutter sort of plan. We really do customize everything, and for that you just need early planning, in my opinion. Our geographic target is really broad. We are looking to prioritize engagements outside of New York City, and in our own experience, we designed our programming to target immigrant families and children, as you saw in some of our programming and education. And we do have resources for presenters, like a dedicated presenter page where you can get information now. And I think the next slide might be my last slide. Yeah, that's a little bit about us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Juan. Really appreciate you walking us through that. And everyone, if you would like more information about Calpulli Mexican Dance Company, you can, again, check out the roster. Sarah Tune is putting information about how to be in touch with the company in the chat. All right, we are going to keep on moving. And Brent, I want to invite you up to speak about DuPont Brass, and I will get the screen share ready to go while you do that.
Cool, thank you, Sarah.
Okay, Brent.
Appreciate it again. Like I mentioned before, my name is Brent Gossett, and I am a part of DuPont Brass, where I also serve as a tour manager. DuPont Brass is a collection of multifaceted artists from historically Black colleges and universities that specializes in all aspects of like music performance or musical performing arts, anything that you could think of, honestly. We've been together for a little over 10 years. And 80% of the group, we actually met at Howard University, where we formed as a brass quintet that just started playing outside during the Christmas season, just trying to raise money for tuition and just pay for school. Can you go to the next slide for me, please? And the one after that. Cool. And so since 2012, we've actually grown to a super group of 10 members that has evolved into like the current form of what you'll see today. And before I dive more into that, I'll let Jared discuss more information about the band, how we sound, and like what our brand is in terms of our sound as a whole. So Jared, go ahead and take over for us.
All right, sure. And you can also go to the next slide as well. Actually, you can go to the next one after that. It's just our bio. All right, cool. So a little bit about DuPont Brass. Our sound is one of a kind, and we have cultivated it, and we've coined it with the name Eclectic Soul. And then we call it that because it's a fusion of jazz, hip hop, R&B, blues, and even classical brass ensemble music. It kind of depends on whatever we are hired for, when it's a private event, or if it's a public event where you hire us to perform as DuPont Brass with our original music, you'll just see a constant fusion of all of those different genres. So for this tour, our goal is to expand our brand up and down the East Coast, outside of the DMV area, as both a performing ensemble and to introduce our educational services through our program, the Ed Series, where again, we have various different programs where we can work with the youth in the community. You can go on to the next slide as well. So the locations that we are looking to perform are New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia and West Virginia, Delaware, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. And from here, I'll pass it back to Brent. Thank you so much for listening.
Cool. Can you go to the next slide for us, Sarah? Cool. Thank you for that. And moving on to the work that we're actually touring. So over the past 3 years, we've been preparing multiple tour sets, and the tour sets that we plan to actually use during our FY24 series are based upon a couple of our releases. So one would be our latest album, Music Education, which is a story in itself about our time matriculating from college, like postgraduate world, and actually most of us being educators and how we incorporate our educational experience from undergrad and as teachers into the sonic representation that you hear on the album. Our other tour set is based off our latest summer release entitled Summer Vibes. And then our last tour set that we'll be using during the FY24 season is based off our upcoming album, which is entitled Professional Development, which is basically our matriculation from the world of education, as some of us have decided to venture off and have different endeavors. So it gives you the glimpse of our educational traits as we've grown and progressed into adulthood. And then in addition to those 3 turn sets, we also have the Ed Series, as Jared explained earlier, which consists of our educational curriculum of interactive live performances and workshops that are specifically tailored to the mission and brand of each presenter that we work with. So, and I know we're limited on time. In an effort not to take up too much more time, I'm going to drop a YouTube link in the actual chat so you can see exactly what DuPont Brass looks like in your venue and in your community. That's a performance of us performing at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts with our original single, Let's Go. So in your own spare time, feel free to review that. And if you need to reach out to us at any given point, Sarah, can you mind going all the way to the last slide? You can see us at the contact information on this last slide. It's like 3 more. Cool, there we go. So thank you for your time today, and hopefully we'll be able to work with you in the future.
Awesome. Thanks so much, y'all. Appreciate it. With Brent and Jared. Glad y'all could be here representing DuPont Brass. We are also putting your contact information in the chat, so feel free to grab that. And as a reminder, stick around to the end for breakout sessions with all of these artists if you have questions or want to speak about how they might come to your community. We have one more presentation before our quick break. So Candace, can I invite you to jump in and speak about Jerron Herman?
I'd love to. Sarah, if it's okay with you, I'd like to start with the video. Hi, everybody again. Jerron is so sorry he couldn't make it, but he is flying back from Brussels. So he recorded a quick thing to say hi. So if we could start with that, then I'll come in at the end. Thanks.
Sounds great. I'll get that ready to go.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jerron Herman, and it's my great privilege to introduce you to Vitruvian, a full-length evening work documenting the life cycle of an image, the Vitruvian Man, as popularized by Da Vinci, now embodied through a Black disabled man, me. Across several movements, Vitruvian goes from being built from nothing, to exploring and discovering his world, to contending with his first real conflict, and eventually reconciling between the images that he's been given and the ones he creates. The piece centers disability aesthetics with its integral use of audio description, creative ASL, and captioning. You know, building Vitruvian was a real dream for me. In my short career, it represents the culmination of a lot of my interest in embodied storytelling and the kind of storytelling that lends itself to full personhood. As you'll notice, I give you access to my full archive and into my brain space. But it's not just about me. My team and I work to create a piece better, with care, ease, and love. I hope that comes out in our materials. So look, I'm so excited to partner with you on the Mid-Atlantic Arts roster, and I welcome you into the world of Vitruvian.
Yay. Hi, everybody again. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Candace Feldman. I am the producer of Vitruvian and also the tour manager. Jerron and I are seriously so stoked about this opportunity. We are excited to tour. We want to go everywhere in all ways. And it's really great because there are some things that make this tour really wonderful. And one, that it's a simple set and it's adaptable into traditional or non-traditional spaces. Two, which is probably the most important, I should have started with number one, is access. All of our access is embedded into the performance. So that includes captions, audio descriptions, and ASL. And then outside of the performance, the engagement opportunities, we have been able to work with some universities across a lot of different planes. And so there's just so many ways to create and build audiences, bring new audiences in, learn a little bit more about disability arts, So that's just a little snippet. And I am better in breakout rooms because I'm an introvert. So I will do better with a couple people. But it has been such a pleasure to share this with you. And I look forward to talking to most of you or all of you later.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candace. And Candace and Kathy, I want to apologize because I flipped the order of you in our presentation.
You sure did. It gave me a little heart attack, but I was like, I can rally.
Thanks for rallying. Thanks for going with the flow. And in order for me to get my ducks in a row and for everyone to process the 3 shares that they just heard, we're going to take just a 2-minute break for everybody. So stay tuned. We'll be back at 4:35, and we'll have more artists to share with you then. So just stay with us. See you at 4:35. All right, everybody, we are back after that brief pause. And Kathy, thank you. And again, Kathy, my apologies for shifting up our order, but glad to kick us back off with you. And if you can share with us about From China to Appalachia, that would be great.
Absolutely. It's great to see everybody. And I just want to say that Marcy and Chal and myself are all so honored to be on this roster. As we explored all of the other acts, we were just wowed by what a great and diverse roster it is. So I'll just tell you a couple things about the program, and then we've got a video to share with you because I think in our case, the music speaks better than I can speak about it, because we have combined music that doesn't usually sit in the same room. Classical Chinese music with American Appalachian Southern sounds on the banjo, the cello, banjo, and the guitar. Then you add to that some ukulele, some jazz, some swing, some other world music, and basically we explore the music that we have in common as well as these interests that we have in each other's music, and how we can stretch beyond our usual boxes that the music sits in. We love doing outreach for kids, for families, for seniors, for all different groups, master classes. Everything is possible. So let's listen to a little bit of the music. We've got a 3-minute video collage of from live performance that Sarah can cue up, and then I'll come back and talk for a minute.
Are you mad at your man?
Hi, thanks for showing that, Sarah. I think you can get a little sense of the variety that we put into the show. We're also very excited about working with a couple of organizations that are hooking us up with Chinese youth dancers and other Chinese organizations where we can make even more of this collaborative process. When we get to the breakout rooms, Chow Tien will join me and you get a chance to say hi to her and meet her as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity. All of our videos and all of our information is on that Mid-Atlantic Arts blurb sheet of all of the artists. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for sharing that. And yes, as Kathy said, you can be in touch with Kathy to book this engagement through the info on the Mid-Atlantic Tours roster sheet. We've also put Kathy's email in the chat. So next up, we are happy to welcome the team from the legendary Ingramet. I am sharing an image here of the group, and now happy to invite on David, Josh, and John to speak about the work.
Yeah, hi everybody. Again, it's David Garr with Freshen Up Arts, and we're the agent for the legendary Ingramets, who have over 60 years history as just an amazing foot stomping, female-fronted, legendary gospel ensemble out of Richmond, Virginia. I'm going to have John Lohman speak more about the history of the group. But first, I just wanted to say the ladies were really blessed this past year. They were just recently awarded a National Endowment of the Arts Heritage Fellowship Award for 2022, which they're delighted to have received. The group tours in a couple different formats. Primarily, it's the three frontline lady singers with a really foot stomping gospel ensemble backing them up. But they're also available to for more intimate venues or situations, workshops. Truncate that down to a 4-piece where it's the ladies with the musical director, keyboardist doing the accompaniment. That works really well for workshop situations. They're also great for university outreach and any of those type of environments as well. So the other thing we wanted to mention for any of you presenters that are coming up to New York in a few weeks for the Arts Presenters Conference, APAP conference, The group was also blessed with being one of the 9 artists that were selected to showcase at the Global Fest conference or Global Fest Festival, which is going to take place at Lincoln Center this year on Sunday the 15th. So you have an opportunity to see the group live there. So I'm going to turn it over to John. He's been working with the group for almost 20 years now, initially with his role as the state folklorist for the state of Virginia, and now with the Center for Cultural Vibrancy. But he's produced the ladies' records, and he'll speak more to the historical significance of the ensemble.
No, thanks, David. David said a whole lot there. That photo that was up there for just a moment there, that was the late Maggie Ingram, evangelist Maggie Ingram, who brought her 5 children after her husband left the family up to Richmond, Virginia, from Miami, Florida, in pre-Civil Rights South, which is quite a journey that with their outreach work, they often are blend into singing and telling that story. As David said, I've had the pleasure of working with them with Maggie. And then as Maggie's health started to decline, the oldest daughter, Almeda, who is a original member of this group that has been singing for 65 years, has taken the helm, and she is just a unbelievably powerful singer. I put her right up there with all of them. And as David said, the group is incredibly energetic. Their concerts also get quite emotional at times. And I wanted to just say here, they are a gospel group, but they are very inclusive and connect with all types of audiences. And I've been blessed to be part of that. We went on a State Department trip to Serbia and Bulgaria. And then we recently had the opportunity to go to Ireland. And I've just never seen a group connect with folks and share so much of themselves. And the group is legendary Ingrams. They are in fact legends in Richmond, Virginia. And then more so now, it's becoming beyond those borders, both for their singing and also for their work in the community. They have a prison ministry, for example, and the work that Maggie always did for the homeless. And they were signed to Nashville Records for a while, which is a major label out of Nashville. And as David said, I had the pleasure of producing their first record after Maggie's passing. It's called "Take a Look in the Book," and it includes originals and a lot of their arrangements of traditionals, as well as some genre crossing material, such as a cover of Ola Belle Reed. Kathy's group did an Ola Belle Reed song. They did "I've Endured," and it's an incredible version of that. And I invite you all to surf the web to see so many of their performances, look at their electronic press kit, as well as check out, take a look in the book. And I think you'll get a taste of this experience.
John mentioned the EPK. Sarah's going to put a link in the chat for the electronic press kit, and that's got some great live samples for the group. And speaking of live samples, we're going to close it off with a small snippet from part of the documentary that National Endowment of the Arts recently aired on the group as part of announcing their NEA Heritage Fellows for 2022.
The Ingramettes came to Richmond as a family unit. And so whatever we did, we always worked as a family unit. We've been at this over 6 decades. We have a second generation. These are friends, relatives, God siblings that have come to be a part of who we are and what we do.
I've been in the band since I was 14 years old.
I was 12 years old. Stage 19.
About 20 years myself.
20 years.
20 years.
It's been 19 years. All of us are brothers. We make it do what it do.
As a child coming up, the Ingramettes, it was like rock star status to actually get to see them live. And that's why it's such an honor to be a part of a legacy that had preceded all of us. I'm telling you, my hand to God, when the Ingramettes hit the building, you knew it.
Mom Maggie was one of those persons that even through time, the amazing part about her was she could sing to young and she could sing to the old, all at the same time.
She could say one word. I mean, and they could make a whole song out of one word. To me, that was just incredible.
She left it in the hands of Almeda Ingram. And at this point, I thought we couldn't go any higher.
My mom's homecoming was attended by approximately 4,000 to 5,000 people. And it was a grand celebration. People from all over came to celebrate her. They came to celebrate her legacy and what her music had meant to them. The buses here, they changed all the signs on the bus to say R.I.P. Evangelist Maggie Ingram. Everything stopped for a celebration. And her dying wish, you guys keep this group going, you keep this group together. In renaming the group, I always wanted to continue to honor my mom. In one of our meetings, one of the group members said, you know what, Amita, you're legendary. And that's how it stuck, the legendary Ingramettes. When I stand before the people to sing, I'm not representing myself, but I'm representing the kingdom. And so when I'm in rehearsal, I sing just as hard as I do when I'm on the stage, and any of my group members will tell you that. Because I may not make it to the show Sunday. This may be my last night. He may call me home tonight, and this may be my last time singing. That's what fuels me, the fact that I am a kingdom representative, not just an Ingram representative or a Richmond, Virginia representative. I am a representative of the kingdom. That's what fuels me.
Oh my God. Great God. Great God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Well, we look forward to talking to those who are interested. And as I said, if you're coming up to New York for APAP, please come out to Global Fest on the Sunday. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy the Ingramettes and as well as the other 8 artists that will be presenting at that event.
Great. Well, thank you, David, Josh, and John, for speaking about the legendary Ingramettes. More information about the Ingramettes is going in the chat. And with that, we are just about ready to move into our final share from roster artists. Last but certainly not least, I want to invite Bill to speak about Martha Redbone's work.
Hello, everybody. I am the tour manager for Martha Redbone. If you're not familiar already with Martha Redbone, she's been around quite a long time. She is an Americana singer-songwriter who has basically 2 popular formats that we put on tour. One is her Roots project, which most commonly is in a quartet, and they play all original Americana Roots songs that Martha Redbone has written about her family and the story of her family going back over 4 generations. She also has a format called Bone Hill, which is more of a theatrical performance, and there's more spoken word in that production. And even in the Roots program, you still get some of these songs from Bone Hill and more brief descriptions. It's more of a straight ahead concert, but the overarching messaging is still there. And Sarah, if you wouldn't mind pulling that video up, I think, getting to know Martha Redbone herself is the most important part, and I think this is a good video for that. And I'll talk a bit more about the differences in those formats after this video.
Inequality is an imbalance in the human system. As an African American and Native American woman, I've experienced inequality my entire life, of falling in between the cracks, not being Native enough, not being Black enough.
What did I do
They say I'm different, but why?
I do believe that messages can be given through music to encourage peace and compassion among humankind. And so I've used my voice as a way to educate people. We have to tell our own stories.
It's a song about how they turned my family from Indian to mulatto to colored in 3 decades in the same house, same people. God bless the good old U.S. of A.
For me, it's important to educate younger people to be conscious of this and to help make a difference.
And how can you be Indian? Your hair is curly brown. I'll take this pan, throw it at your head, and it better fall to the ground.
The whole concept of ending inequality is much greater than we are. All the decisions that we make today in our own lives are not just for the benefit of ourselves individually, but it's for our children's children. Inequality is a constant struggle. You put in the work constantly, and you never let up, and you never give up.
So as you can see, Martha's a pretty amazing and important person. The story of her family is the story of our country, really. Bonehill, the musical, specifically goes back 4 generations to Harlan County, Kentucky, and tells the story of her family's struggle and how that struggle changed and improved, but never quite went away, all the way up to modern day. And it's a story of how far we've come. It's a story of how far we have to go. Martha's outreach and residency work is incredible. She can do a plethora of things such as Q&As, workshops. She is an award-winning educator. She has a lot of opportunities for young people in your community to come and learn about American history, as well as social struggles and things of that nature. So happy to answer any questions you guys have in the breakout. I'm very excited that Martha gets the chance to be a part of this great roster of artists. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bill, for sharing about Martha's work. Y'all can find out more about Martha and the 2 different pieces that Martha is offering through during this touring cycle on the roster, and there's more information on how to get in touch with Bill in the chat. So everyone, thank you so much for your time and your attention to the Mid-Atlantic Tour's roster artist pitch session, share. It's been just personally so awesome to get to know these are incredible artists and the fabulous tour managers. In some cases, they're one and the same. And I just really want to encourage you all to think about which of these artists, maybe it's more than one, would be a good fit for your community.